Okay, good afternoon everyone and welcome to the next instalment of the Natilic Wednesday webinars. Today we are going to cover off Cisco's new security product, SecureX. And today we are joined with Stuart Andrews from our security team here at Natilic. And Stu is going to take you through the product end to end, and we'll also be going through a demo with you. Obviously, there is the questions, the Q&A functionality within WebEx. So if you have any questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to just drop them in there and we'll aim to answer them as we go along. And there will be some time at the end if you think of any whilst we're going through. So without further ado, I'll pass over to Stu and we'll get started.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining. As Hayley alluded to, I'll be running through introducing you to SecureX, Cisco's platform, new security platform, and its offering, covering the positioning, sort of where it fits into the portfolio. Main part of it is really the demo. I'm in the hands of the demo gods with Cisco's dCloud, and we've got a couple of next steps following up after that as well. So if I move on, SecureX. So looking at this year's Cso Benchmark Study, which is available on the Natilic's website, there's a couple of key sort of figures that come out of that. All security teams really need to sort of like protect a lot more things than normal. They need to do it faster, and it tends to be more complex these days. So they're under some pressure to actually, and challenges to actually get things done a lot quicker, and certainly address the threats for the organisations. 81% of the Cso benchmark said they're going to actually they find putting in all these products and integrations, they found them a bit challenging. Obviously, there's when it comes to security, there's thousands and thousands of point products, and getting them working together is a challenge, and it is complex. And as upgrades and things like new products come on board, that is never ending. 77% plan on automate more actions. So yeah, obviously this is automation is the way forward. Doing things, repetitive tasks, and there's a lot of repetitive tasks in security teams that's done over and over and over again. If we can automate as much as possible, that's got to be a good thing. That means we're working a lot more smarter, a lot more efficient on that. So there's some of the challenges that I pulled out from the benchmark study. So Cisco's had quite a unique approach to tackling these they've got obviously security products throughout the portfolio, from email to web to endpoints to firewalls, and really they brought out this platform. Their approach is they need to make things a lot simpler. Simply basically through integration, making things that can integrate really easily. They need to make things improve visibility. So the way to do that is by consolidating the displays. The amount of dashboards for any security team is there's not enough desk space for all the screens to be on at the same time. And then to be more efficient. So automating those time-consuming tasks. That's the goal of this platform. And that's hopefully what this will address. So Cisco introduced SecureX earlier this year. It's still in the initial release. It's a cloud-delivered platform, and it integrates with all of Cisco's security products, as you'd expect. Not only that, though, it actually integrates with third-party services as well. So if you've got a SIEM or SOAR or some other third-party threat intelligence, it'll also integrate with that. So it's not purely a Cisco solution for that. The more integrations that I believe Cisco SecureX has, the more valuable it becomes as a platform.
Do you mind, Stu, if I just interrupt and ask a quick question here as well? You mentioned seam or SOAR. Does SecureX, so it doesn't fall into a seam or a SOAR specifically?
Yeah, so good question. I mean, it's SecureX is not a seam. A seam will gather all your events, your security events, and store them for you, so you can use them later for investigations and that. SecureX does not provide that function. However, strictly, it's probably not a SOAR either, but it's probably leaning towards a more of a SOAR because it's got some of that automation functionality in there. The orchestration features of SecureX makes it more leaning towards a SOAR rather than the seam. So I'd probably say it's more of a SOAR than a seam on that side of things. On top of that, really, it's got sort of some collaboration tools. So no matter what security team you're in, within SecOps or NetOps, there is you can have customized dashboards, and there's some collaboration tools that allows you to share the information across the teams, on a unique sort of unified sort of feel for it across all the products. But don't worry, I'll show the dashboard. We can go into this a little bit deeper as part of the demo. So, as mentioned, simplicity via integrations. This ribbon and sign-on. So the ribbon is the collaboration tool. So with Cisco products, there's a dashboard for every Cisco product, as you'd expect, and there's this element called a ribbon, which is present when integrated with SecureX, is present and is unified across all the platforms. So you can dive into it, and this collaboration just helps you investigate incidents. There's single sign-on, support single sign-on, so you don't have to keep signing into different dashboards each time. Your unique single sign-on onto SecureX will then allow you to pivot to the various dashboards that you're allowed to, and gives you that functionality that's required to actually control those platforms. So, the idea is you're not constantly switching between dashboard to dashboard to dashboard. Hence, the next one's dashboard, which you customize that as much as you can, and I'll show you how we can do that quite really simply easy, to do. Threat response is the core. Anyone that's come across Cisco threat response previously, it's been around for a few years now, but this is the core function of SecureX. It allows you to investigate incidents across all the products, using threat response dashboard, really, and then it can tell you where it's seen certain URLs, certain files, and where that's actually popped up in your network. The orchestration side of it is new. This is certainly something that's very powerful. It's very simple. You don't need to know code or anything like that. It's simple drag and drop, step by step, through to automate those daily tasks that we do as much as possible. And I can give you some examples of where that comes into effect. So if you've got any Cisco security products, such as these, so the initial release came out, I think it's July time, and it fully supports the integration with these products here. If you've got any of these products in your infrastructure, then you can enable SecureX for free. Basically, SecureX is a non-chargeable product, but it utilizes your existing investments into Cisco's security products. So if you've got Cisco Umbrella, we can spin up SecureX to actually drive Cisco Umbrella and give you a deeper dive into what's going on your network.
And Stuart, just looking at this range of from the Cisco portfolio here, I noticed that Cisco ICE isn't one of the little icons there. Is that roadmap to come?
Yeah. So when it was first released, obviously ICE is quite a very common product from Cisco, and one that many of our customers use. The initial release did not include support for Cisco ICE. For me, it was quite disappointing. However, I am, not promised, but informed that the next release of Cisco SecureX will include support for Cisco ICE. Now that is due to be released, I think, by the end of this year. So in the next few months, I'm hoping to see the second release of SecureX, and that should include the Cisco ICE. So yes, it's definitely on the roadmap, and due to be with us soon. So obviously this is covering just Cisco products as you would expect. And as we alluded to earlier, integrations with existing scenes and SOARs are there out the box today. Obviously all the integrations are using APIs. The threat intelligence side of things is quite good, and purely that we can feed the threat intelligence into Cisco SecureX. SecureX, being a Cisco product, obviously has fully integrated with Cisco Talos, which is the threat intelligence agency for Cisco. However, majority of our customers don't just rely on a single source for threat intelligence. You've normally got multiple sources, and that's probably quite evident as you can see here with the amount of threat intelligence modules that's included with SecureX. So not only just covering Cisco security products, there's also additional services on there. It's pretty much open APIs. So if there wasn't any built-in integrations and built-in APIs for that, we can utilize the open APIs to bring up some custom integrations if that was something that's required. So enough about slides. I think the easiest thing with SecureX is just to dive in there. So if you bear with me, I'll just bring up the dashboard. So this is the dashboard. Now, as you can see, let's start on the left-hand side. So on the left-hand side here, we have the application and integrations. So this lists all the applications that you've got. So where it says My Integrations, I've obviously got, this is a demo platform that's integrated with lots of Cisco products already, so that shows up your integrations there already. Further down, available integrations which are possible, and this is not just purely Cisco products, but there's third-party products here. You've got Radware and people like ServiceNow and Shodan. So there's links here to show you what's possible as well. The actual links, there's some free trials on some of the links here. So if you wasn't aware of anything, it gives you the option to go and actually just give them a run for the money and see what's available and what that has to offer. So on the left-hand side, it's pretty straightforward, applications and integrations. From here, I could launch, if I wanted to actually go into the AMP for Endpoints dashboard itself, this obviously just brings up a dashboard if I wanted to go there directly. So we can move that across, being as it's pretty much done and dusted. I can see it's pretty customizable. This is me as a specific user. I could add more of these tiles. I'll come to these tiles later. On the right hand side is basically the news feed. The actual news feed is where we get the threat intelligence feeds coming into that, and we can actually showcase them. So here we've got some stuff from Talos, from US Cert. So anything that's quite interesting, we can actually bring into there. And maybe there's some new threats that's come out that you want to investigate, and this could be a feed into there. So it could be useful, could be not. If it's not, we can send it away. These are the dashboards along the top. These are totally customizable dashboards that gives you the visibility that you need. The color coding is per product. So as you can see, this sort of pink, pale pink product color is for AMP for Endpoints. whereas this is obviously email security in the Lilac. We can have sort of like up to 60 tiles are available across 12 Cisco products, integrated products on here. And depending on your job role, you can create these tiles. You can move them about, prioritize them, if resize them, totally customizable for actually what you want, what you need to do. So that's the dashboard. I think there's dark mode as well. I think it's quite popular these days, dark mode. I've got it in light mode but on here. But along the top, we've got integrations. So if you did want to actually show some integrations, there's some details about how we integrate, say, maybe Orbital, or this is my integration that's there already, built-in modules. That's how we do that there. From a user point of view, once you've got a dashboard up and working, I'm not an administrator on here, but I wanted to add new users to SecureX. That's what we've done here as well. So going back, the key point that I'd like to introduce you is this thing called a ribbon. So at the bottom here, you can see we've got SecureX instance, and this is what's known as the ribbon. Once your Cisco products is integrated with SecureX, this ribbon will be available on all the dashboards. It will look and feel exactly the same on all the products. So if I hop to, this is Umbrella dashboard, if no one else has seen it, it's fine. But at the bottom here, because it's integrated with SecureX, I've also got this ribbon here. And if I call this up, it looks got the look and feel exactly the same as if I was on SecureX. And it's the same thing if I was on AMP for endpoints, if I was on any other dashboard, I'd have this ribbon that's available. Now, if I just hop back here, so there's 3 applications that's available at the moment with SecureX. There's Casebook. So a Casebook is it's been around with Cisco threat response for a while, where you can actually track, investigate, and collect all the information when investigating a specific incident or threat. And from that, it allows you to add more details onto it, allows you to track it. And obviously, if I'm jumping on, I'm on here on SecureX, I could add to it. If I jumped onto Umbrella, I could add to it, and it all actually collects in a central place on SecureX. So it can be added and updated on there. So it's basically a means of tracking the investigations. We've got Instance. So Instance is it triages, tracks security instance of your integrated products. So if you had Cisco's firewalls integrated with SecureX, rather than events being generated within the firewall and maybe the firewall management center, then the instance will be sent here as well. So there's no need to actually look there. You could look at the seam, I guess. So multiple places where you can actually find out where these instances arrive. There's Orbital as well. So Orbital is a feature of Cisco AMP for endpoints. And what this actually does, it runs queries against endpoints using OS query. And basically, you want to find out if it's what version it's running, if it's certain service running on it, or anything like that. Orbital allows you to go and probe an endpoint that's running endpoints and pull off various information on that. And I can show you an example of that as well. So on this, if I look at incidents, so instance will come in, and I can look at various details of these instances coming without sort of having to log on to the specific products themselves. So if I look here, it's a suspicious URL come in. So any observables on this one? No sightings on this one. So here's one. So here I've got a security instance. This has come from FTD, which is the firewall, Cisco firewall. It's using the security intelligence. And the observables is there's a drink water URL. So there's a malicious URL that's been accessed. It's not been blocked. It's gone through by the looks of the internal IP address here, and this is obviously external IP address. It's there. Sightings gives a little bit more details of it. FTD is firepower threat defense. The actual device, it's actually discovered it. And it gives various details straight away of what that actual instance is. So when this instance has come in, I can actually allocate it to a person, maybe another security engineer, assign it to myself. I can change the status of it. So I can say if it's open, closed. I can view it in an instant manager where you can actually manage all the instances, maybe from from a single place. But from this point of view, I've not connected to the firewall. The firewall's just provided me with this event, and I'm going to use investigate in threat response. I'm going to investigate this myself. I've got it open in here. So with one click, this will open up Cisco's threat response. And if I give it some time, it's doing some investigation. So it's looking at this file, trying to find out what went on, who's talking to it. This is the details it's given us. So there's one target at the moment, which is my internal address. So this is in the guy in purple. If I look at observables, I can see the URL, the two IP addresses in there. And if I look at, obviously one URL, if I look at the modules, the actual modules tell me what products have actually seen this this incident. So the incident parameters here is the IP addresses, the internal, the external, and the URL. It searched all the integrations that we've got and come up with this information here. Now, you notice the blue magnifying glass. The blue magnifying glass indicates that actually observable is being investigated. So I am investigating this device, and this device on here. So and if I wanted to add other devices to it, that's fine. So if I click on here, I can add this suspicious URL added there, so I can add that to this, and this is a different URL, 168gaming.com, and that's allowed me here. And on top of that, it's showing me what's actually the conversations that's been going on. I can move this about. Targeted. So this is also targeted machine, and this is the actual drink water, so drink food URL, the original suspicious one from there. The beauty of it, so this is pretty much giving us some quite detailed detailed information of what's going on. The idea is from here, I can actually submit the URL to ThreatGrid to actually run a sandbox and do some more information about that, and that's quite easily done just by doing this. I think it comes up with here. Yeah, it's come up with a successfully submitted. So straight away, I've submitted that URL to ThreatGrid. That runs a sandbox on Windows 10 on that. So I don't need to do anything further than that. And I'll show you in a minute what happened to the results of that. I've also, depending on the endpoint itself, so on the endpoint, I can some more information coming out here. Let me have a look. I can actually block certain URLs using Umbrella straight away. So if although that came in as a suspicious URL, I can actually block it. I'll wait for this to catch up. Hands of the demo gods. Let me try this other URL. See, this one suspicious. So if I come down to here, so it's already actually being unblocked. So this is the Umbrella. I can either use an Umbrella. I can block and unblock it. Normally, I'd have to jump into Umbrella, log on, put that domain in, cut and paste that domain in, domain and block it. So straight away from here, I can just block it or unblock it. So it's already been done here. Someone's already beaten me to it. So I can actually take action of what's going on. For endpoints, I can actually isolate machines to actually stop it communicating and stop the spread of anything malicious, anything further. So it's quite a powerful tool without having to jump from dashboard to dashboard. From here, I can actually drive everything as well as having all the information that's provided here as well. So really, that's sort of like a sort of a view. That's the main core part of SecureX. This has been around for a while. It's getting more and more built on. It's getting more and more feature rich. The key thing here is that you can pivot from products, different types of products. We're showing 4 different products, and we can pivot to all those products to actually take action about anything threats, as well as looking at the observables. Here are sightings. I'm not just seeing, if I click on the URL, if it's a mine, but it could be something that's happening globally, not just within my environment. So here's, I'm linking that into Cisco Talus threat intelligence as well. So there's lots of things going on there. It's a really useful tool. Quite happy to sort of. I think the best thing to do with this is really get it integrated in your network and have a play with this, because it takes a while to get used to and can be quite complex. Let me switch back. So I submitted a URL to ThreatGrid for it to be analysed. So if I close this down, if I go to orchestration, so this is the orchestration part of SecureX, and what we need to do. So this one here. So this is the orchestration tool, and you can create pretty much it to do anything that using these widgets on the left-hand side. But basically, what we've done here is we've got an HTTP request. We submitted that there. If it is an HTTP request, it gets submitted to ThreatGrid, and what ThreatGrid will then do is analyze that and see if it's malicious or not. But the bottom line of it, when it's created this, it basically puts an output to WebEx Teams. Now that could be anything. It can be sort of like Microsoft Teams. You can actually have an email being sent out, but this sandboxing does take a while, and normally you'd be there refreshing, waiting for it to finish. Because of this automation, I've submitted it using that right click within ThreatGrid, and now I can just wait for the results to come through on WebEx Teams, and that could be split in that could be a group Teams, so not just myself. It could be any one of my colleagues that actually see that message, and then you could make a judgment of whether you want to block it or take further action on that if required. So that's really sort of the orchestration side of it. It's quite nice and easy. I haven't got administration rights, so I can't make any changes. But certainly you can see it's a nice, easy flow, drag and drop. Don't really need to know coding too much on that side of things. But it's quite a powerful tool there. Another one I'd like to show you is if I can see it, I think it's this one, yes. So I mentioned Orbital, which allows you to actually go out and look at various endpoints and make various queries. So there's a CVE come out. There's a Microsoft CVE related to Microsoft Machine, 2020 come out this year. It was a threat to do with SMB. So this threat come out. So what I'm doing here is actually running this automatic tool, which basically generates a token, which allows me to go and query Orbital on the endpoint for that actual CVE. To see if it's a threat or not. And it's not just a one-off thing. This is probably set to run, you can run this hourly. So there's no target set on this one, but I can set this to run. So if this is an immediate threat within my organization, I could get this running all the time. So every query, so you can run an hourly query on every endpoint to see if this was if a specific CVE was present there. So it's not a one-in-time thing. It's a continuous journey on that, so to making sure that threat's no longer in your organization. So that's quite a nice sort of a example of what that happens there, of the orchestration tool. If I think that's it regarding the SecureX sort of demo side of things. Quite powerful. I think depending on your integrations, best thing to do is get your hands on it, then you can and really sort of drive it. That's how I've sort of like got to grips with it, and you can appreciate the how powerful it is with that. If I just shoot back to the slides, got a couple more slides. So use case, yes. So I just want to share one use case I've had with a customer. This customer had Cisco Umbrella. And he had a third-party threat intelligence coming in via email. So this email coming on a daily basis with listing a load of domain names. What the customer had to do was look at those domain names. It would use Umbrella's investigate feature of each of those domains to actually go and see if it was malicious or not, and what sort of threat score it gave. It would then hop onto the Umbrella dashboard, block it using Umbrella's DNS blocking service, and then go on to the URL filtering of his firewall and block it there. So where he's used Cisco SecureX is he can put that URL directly into SecureX. It'll automatically give a view of using Cisco Talos of that domain if it was threat, and if he deems it to be threat, he can then right click, block it on URL filtering on the firewall, and right click, block it on Umbrella. So it's a fraction of the time of what he had to do. Rather than going to 3 different dashboards, he just uses SecureX on that. The next stage further for him is to automate that service completely. So basically, we're going to have to scrape the domain names from the email. We could then do a lookup of the URLs themselves, and then if they're a certain severity, then block them on the firewalls and Umbrella. So that's the next stage. We haven't quite got there yet, so it's early stages yet. But that's sort of like a use case of where we've used SecureX in the real world. Yeah, I just wanted to share with you. I think we had some, so as with anything, so SecureX, if you're doing a trial with Cisco Umbrella, SecureX can come along with that. I'm quite happy to talk to anyone on those next steps on doing that and getting that up and working. Certainly having Umbrella together with SecureX becomes a very powerful solution.
Yeah. All of the Cisco security products can be trialed. If you want to go to the Natilic website, they're in the trials page. You can see all the different ones, and obviously, as you said, you can view them all holistically under the SecureX platform. But thank you so much, Stu. That was really great. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to drop us a line at hello@natilic.com, and we'll make sure that we circle around with you. If there's anything specific you want to see or any particular examples, we can bring up the demo again and go through with you step by step on how we'll help you solve the challenges that you're facing. Okay. Thank you very much, Stu.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you very much. Cheers, Em. Bye-bye.